The escape pod's hull groaned as it settled into the frozen wasteland. Inside, Dr. Emma Chin, the last surviving member of the research vessel Horizon, struggled with consciousness. Her environmental suit had torn during the crash, exposing her left side to temperatures that would kill most humans within minutes. She stumbled from the wreckage, limbs already stiffening. The alien planet's twin suns provided no warmth, only harsh light that reflected off endless ice. Her breath came in short gasps, each one burning her lungs. Then she saw it. Another pod, half buried in the snow 100 meters away. Emma forced her legs to move. Each step felt like her last. When she finally reached the pod and pried open the hatch, she found him, a humanoid alien, unconscious but breathing. His species, the Vorith, had been part of the joint expedition. This one wore the uniform markings of a security officer. She collapsed beside him, her body shaking violently. The pod's interior offered minimal shelter, but it was warmer than outside. The alien stirred, his 3 eyes opening slowly. "Help," Emma whispered through chattering teeth. "Please." The Vorith sat up quickly, assessing the situation with military efficiency. His gaze fixed on her damaged suit, her exposed blue-tinged skin. He reached for his emergency kit, but Emma could see the problem immediately. Vorath environmental suits were designed for their physiology, not hers. The medical supplies would be incompatible. The heating units were calibrated wrong. "No good," the alien said in rough universal standard. His name tag read Officer Kalen. "Your biology different. My equipment not work for you." Emma's vision blurred. She knew hypothermia stages. She was already past shivering into the dangerous stillness that preceded death. Her mind raced through survival protocols, but every option led to the same conclusion. She needed heat. "Body heat. Take off your suit," she heard herself say. Kalen's head tilted in confusion. "Please," Emma continued, forcing the words out. "Imagine I'm your wife, your mate, whatever your people call it. I need your body heat or I die." The Vorith officer froze. His species valued honor above all else. Physical contact with aliens was not forbidden, but it was deeply personal, reserved for family units and bonded pairs. What she was asking went against every social protocol. He knew, but he had also been trained to preserve life. Kalen's hands moved to his suit seals. He removed the upper portion, revealing blue-gray skin covered in fine scales. His species ran hot, evolutionary adaptation from their volcanic homeworld. He could see steam rising from his exposed torso in the pod's frigid air. Emma didn't wait. With the last of her strength, she pressed against him, her human flesh against his alien form. She wrapped her arms around his midsection, trying to absorb every bit of warmth he could provide. Kalen remained rigid at first, uncomfortable with the contact. But as minutes passed and Emma's breathing steadied slightly, he understood. This was survival. Nothing more, nothing less. Slowly, he placed his arms around her, creating a cocoon of warmth. "Thank you," Emma murmured against his chest. Hours passed. The twin suns moved across the sky, and the temperature inside the pod dropped further. Kalen adjusted his position several times, ensuring maximum heat transfer. He activated the pod's distress beacon, knowing it would be days before rescue arrived. If it came at all, Emma drifted in and out of consciousness. In her delirium, she talked. About Earth, about her research, about the family she might never see again. Kalen listened, his 3 eyes watching the ice plains through the pod's small window. "Your species is strange," he said quietly. "Fragile, weak against cold. Yet you survived a crash that killed 6 of my people. You walked through ice to find help. This is contradiction." Emma managed a weak smile. "We're stubborn. It's our thing." "Stubborn," Kalen repeated, testing the word. This is good quality. As the first night descended, temperatures plummeted to lethal levels. The pod's minimal power reserves struggled to maintain even basic life support. Kalen pulled Emma closer, using his larger body to shield her completely. He could feel her heartbeat against his chest, rapid and weak. "Tell me about your wife," Emma whispered. "Your real one." Kalen was silent for a long moment. "I have no mate. Military service first. Family after. Oh, but I have sister," he continued. "She is scientist like you. Studies ocean vents on homeworld. Very smart. Very stubborn also." Emma laughed, the sound barely audible. "I'd like to meet her. If we survive, I introduce you." The second day brought new challenges. Emma's body was recovering slowly, but she had developed a fever. The combination of hypothermia, physical trauma, and exposure had pushed her immune system into overdrive. She shook with chills despite Kalen's warmth. The Vorath officer faced an impossible decision. His own supplies were limited. The water rations were nearly gone. The food he carried was toxic to human biology. He could survive days longer than she could, but watching her die slowly was not something his honor would allow. He made a choice. Kalen adjusted the pod systems, rerouting all remaining power to the small heating unit. The distress beacon went silent. Navigation systems shut down. Environmental sensors stopped functioning. Everything focused on keeping the interior temperature just above freezing. "What are you doing?" Emma asked, lucid for the moment. "Ensuring you live," Kalen replied simply. "But the beacon, they will find us or they will not. This does not change. But I can change whether you survive until they arrive." Emma tried to protest, but exhaustion claimed her again. She slept fitfully, wrapped in Kalen's arms. The third day arrived with a storm. Ice crystals battered the pod's exterior, creating an endless howling that drowned out all other sound. Visibility dropped to 0. Inside, the temperature continued its slow decline. Despite the heating unit's best efforts, Kalen had begun to feel the cold himself. His species was resilient, but not immune. His movements became slower, more deliberate. He knew the signs. He was entering torpor, his body's defense mechanism against extreme conditions. If he allowed it to take hold, he would survive longer, but Emma would freeze. He fought it. Through training, through willpower, through sheer stubborn refusal to let an ally die on his watch. He told Emma stories about his homeworld, about the volcanic peaks and thermal seas. He described his sister's research, her discoveries about extremophile organisms living in impossible conditions. "You know what she would say about us?" Kalen asked, his voice rough. "She would say we are like her organisms, living in impossible conditions, adapting, surviving." Emma opened her eyes, seeing him clearly for the first time in hours. His scales had lost their luster. His 3 eyes, usually bright, had dulled. He was dying to keep her alive. "No," she said firmly. She pushed away from him slightly. "You need to conserve your heat. Go into torpor. Save yourself." "Not possible," Kalen replied. "You die if I sleep. Better one of us survives than both of us die. This is not mathematics. This is honor." They argued weakly, both too exhausted for real conviction. Eventually, they fell silent, holding each other in the dark. The 4th day brought a miracle. The storm had cleared. Through the pod's window, they saw it a ship descending through the atmosphere. The rescue team had found them. Emma tried to sit up, but couldn't. Kalen managed to trigger the pod's emergency flare, his movements painfully slow. The ship adjusted course, heading directly toward them. Within an hour, medical teams had extracted them both. Human doctors worked on Emma, while Vorath specialists treated Kalen. Both were critical but stable. 5 days later, Emma woke in the medical bay of a rescue vessel. A human nurse smiled down at her. "Welcome back, Doctor. You gave us quite a scare." "Kalen?" Emma asked immediately. "The Vorath officer?" "He's recovering. Severe hypothermia and nutritional depletion, but he'll be fine. He's been asking about you, too." 2 days after that, Emma was cleared for walking. She made her way to the Vorath medical section, finding Kalen sitting up in his bed, looking stronger. "You lived," he said, his version of a smile showing in the brightening of his eyes. "We both did," Emma corrected. "Thank you. For everything." Kalen nodded slowly. "My sister wishes to meet you. She has heard the story. She says you are indeed like her organisms. Stubborn life refusing to end." Emma laughed. "I'll take that as a compliment. It is highest praise in her field." They talked for hours, sharing details they had been too delirious to communicate on the ice world. The rescue team had found them because of protocol sweeps of the crash site, not the beacon. Kalen's sacrifice of the distress signal had meant nothing to their rescue, but everything to their survival. Before Emma left, Kalen reached out and gently touched her hand. Physical contact was still strange to him, but he was learning. "You asked me to imagine you as my wife," he said quietly. "I could not do this, but I could imagine you as family, as someone worth protecting." This was enough. Emma squeezed his hand. It was more than enough. It was everything.